ओम श्री मात्रे नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री महागणपते नमः। एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमाकुशधरं रदं च वरदं हस्तैर्बिभ्राणं मूषकध्वजम् रक्तं लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितम् भक्तानुकम्पिनं देवं जगत्कारणम् अच्युतम् अविभूतं च शिष्टयादौ प्रकृते पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायति यो नित्यम् स योगी योगिनां वरः। ॐ नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमस्तेऽस्तु लम्बोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्ननाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः। So, a beautiful morning. We have many new people on board, and that is so wonderful to see. It's an open session today, and we are going to talk something about liberation. We're going to talk something about why are we doing whatever we are doing, all the practices and all the taking our time from our hustle bustle life and doing something so deeply. Why are we doing all this, and where are we heading? So the world, as is said often in all the scriptural text, is an illusion, and there is a illusion cast by Maya, and we are all involved in this illusion, helplessly involved in this illusion because we are a part of this illusion. And there are these bandhans, and there are these small, deep, strong, attractive forces that are so subtle yet so sure that we cannot cut through them and cannot look into the truth easily. However, when the awakening happens, then there is a calling from deep inside. The word calling refers to the soul calling you. The soul calling the I personality that, hello, please find out something about me, figure out something about me. And I wish to go back home, and I seem to be trapped somewhere. I seem to be lost somewhere. And this calling then urges you to find out something about your truth. What is there to find out about the truth? You know who you were born to and where you grew up and what you studied. Then what is the other truth that you want to find about yourself? The truth about, is there something about me that I don't know? And there is something about me that I don't know. That certitude comes in your head that I don't know myself completely. And then you start removing these masks and removing these various personalities that you had taken over willingly, and understanding or misunderstanding them to be important for your growth. And that growth which you pursued all your life, you start feeling that this growth is empty. This growth is not the truth of my existence. My existence is something else. And this inquiry starts, and all of you sitting over here are a part of this inquiry and search. We are a team. We are like rock hounders going into big whales and big mountains, trying to find out that which we really need, to feel fulfilled. So the word liberation, is synonymous to moksha, mukti. The word moksha, mukti, nirvana. And many cultures in the world have different words for the word liberation. Who is liberated? Is something that we'll figure out first. Today's class is open class, and the discussion applies to everyone. And yet it is bridging our course that we did previously, the 1,000 adorations of the Devi, extolation of the Lalita, and understanding the science of creation. It bridges and ushers all the participants into the new course, Brahma Gyan Sutras, where there is inquiry, and unraveling your true self. So the word liberation, it begins with understanding that who is being liberated. I am being liberated. I will be liberated when I die. So what's the big game about it? The word liberation talks about liberating the soul from the trap of Maya, or from the trap of Prakriti. Several philosophies are there in India that talk about the soul's journey. There is Dvait philosophy, there is Advait philosophy, there is Vishishta Advait philosophy. There's Sankhya philosophy given by Kapila Muni that talks about the soul separating from the universal soul and starting a journey of life, going through various kingdoms, rock kingdom, plant kingdom. We'll be doing this chapter in detail next Sunday in the first class of Brahmagyan Sutras. However, very briefly speaking about it, here with reference to liberation, it goes through the stone kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom. The soul is, for thousands of years, has gone into slumber, and it has made a promise to the universal soul, to the Shiva, that I promise to participate in your game wholeheartedly, and you may do what you want to do with me. And the soul is put into a slumber and gone through various lifetimes, 84 lakh yoni. In India, we say there are 84 lakhs yonis. That means kinds of life that you live through, in the whole sequence of life after life. And you go through these basic kingdoms of rock kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, evolving slowly, every life evolving, becoming better. Becoming better means in animal kingdom, you're like a bee or like an insect or maybe a unicellular animal, and then go into complex, cellular mechanisms and arrive at being a very complex animal who is quite par with the human being. And then you enter into the human kingdom, and in the human kingdom also several lifetimes go before you come to the state of awakening. They say that 108 lives we spend in the human life, where above 100, the awakening starts, the knocking starts, the calling starts, and there is an urge. Every lifetime, it's like, oh my God, another life gone. And then the next life, there is an urge. There is a hook. In Hindi, there is a word hook. There's a hunger. There's a deep thirst and a deep pull towards knowing more, eating it all, knowing it all, and as if I'm going to eat all of this and then I'm liberated. It's something like that. And every lifetime you spend, it becomes even more intense. So the 8 lifetimes after 100 are, acutely thirsty and hungry for knowledge, wisdom, and liberation. You don't even know when you're acutely hungry and thirsty. In the beginning few lives, you don't even know what you're hungry for. You're searching. Previously, it is more of an intellectual thirst where you want to know, and there's cramming of a lot of information. And in the later stages, it's like unconditioning and dropping all the accumulated sacks and sacks of it. It's like when I was young, I had closets and closets and closets filled up with books, as if these books are all going to go into my head. And many of them not read also, bought but not read. I'm sure all of you have these closets full with books that you haven't even read, files with papers and, folders. Now you have computers. In our times, there wasn't so much of a computer storage, and books and books and pages and pages and pages. When I shifted to Rishikesh, I had 12 cartons full of pages and books. And then one day I made a bonfire out of them, and I just burnt all of them, because what has to go in my head will go with my anubhuti, and otherwise it's not going to go. So it is with these lifetimes. There's an intellectual thirst first, and then there is, especially for educated people, we want to know more, keep storing blogs and write-ups and downloads and books and so much of it. But then it is not read. You don't read it. And only that sentence that has to go into your head will go into your head. And that will manifest into a realization. And paroksha jnana, aparoksha jnana, we say. Paroksha jnana means that is acquired from scriptures. Of course, authentic pramana jnana, not inauthentic, not fiction books. Authentic pramana jnana coming from scriptures. Vedic scriptures we talk about here. And then aparoksha jnana, that comes with experience, when you start unconditioning and throwing out the unnecessary stuff out of your head, and out of your closets and out of your house, and you come into minimalism of some kind, at least intellectual minimalism, where only that what needs to be focused on is there. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, only on set things. And often it is related to the Ishta Devata or to the Devata that you are dedicated. You are in Devi Puja. Many of you are into Devi Puja. With me, you've been into Mahaganpati and Devi Upasana. We limit our understanding, our focus, dhyana, and nididhyasana to the Ishta Devata. So liberation word, mukti, we'll talk about, for common people, what should liberation mean later. Let me talk about the authentic liberation methods that are mentioned about in our scriptures. Liberation word, mukti or moksha, broadly can be classified according to Vedanta into two categories. One is called Videha Mukti. Videha Mukti means when people die, devout people die, when devout enlightened people who have been completely 100% dissolved in the Ishta Devata. And often the Videha Mukti comes for Saguna Upasana. Saguna Upasana means where they have dedicated their lives to dissolving into the Ishta Devata. Whether it is the Devi or it is Krishna or it is Ram or it is Shiva or any form of the Devi, Kali, anything. When 100% resolution of the ego happens, then Videha Mukti you get. Videha Mukti means after your death, the soul is liberated and merges with consciousness. But this merging with consciousness does not happen so easily. So firstly, let us talk about these two categories. One is Videha Mukti that happens after your death, and there is jivan mukti that can happen while you're alive. All right. Now, Videha Mukti is a traditional word where, Sagunopasak means those that have been completely immersed in the worship of their Ishta Devata. They throw out and they, negate everything, and the ego identification is completely merged with the Brahman and with the Ishta Devata. Then when they die, then they get a Krama Mukti. They get Krama Mukti. Krama Mukti is another technical word. I've made a very beautiful picture that I'll share with you to explain this more clearly, because I tend to go very fast and it's too much for you to grasp in a single go. But I've shared a picture. I'll share this picture in all our groups as well. Okay. So Videha Mukti happens to Sagun Upasaks. Sagun Upasaks means those who have devotedly spend their life in Upasana and tied themselves up, to the bhakti yoga, and they have also incorporated jnana yoga and karma yoga with their bhakti yoga, but predominantly bhakti yoga, where dedication to the Ishta Devata is happening. All right. So after death, the soul goes to Brahmalok. It goes to Brahmalok, and Brahma himself, they receive nirguna jnana. They say that saguna jnana is the nirguna jnana. The saguna jnana means you know your Ishta Devata to be the Paramatma, and you are devoting all your life to the Devata. But when they die, their soul is taken to Brahmalok, and through exalted powers, like ascended masters and Hiranyagarbha itself, Brahma himself, gives them the jnana of Nirguna Upasana. And then they merge, when the Kalpa ends, then they merge with the Nirguna Brahman. They merge with the universal consciousness. In the stages in between, the souls choose to be with the Ishta Devata. There are these four kinds of words that are used normally in our scriptures. The soul chooses, to be in the loka of the Ishta. We call it Salokya and Samipya Mukti. Salokya means it stays in the loka of the Ishta, the space of where the Ishta, the portal. As I often use the word portal, the soul stays there in the portal and in close proximity with the Ishta Devata, in the energy of the Ishta Devata. And they are blissfully there, they're happy there, they're not interested in any other mukti. For them, this is mukti. The souls are very happy being with the Ishta Devata, in the energy of the Ishta Devata, in close samipya of the Ishta Devata. And also Sarupa and Sayuja. Sarupa and Sayuja, these are stages. You can say that these four words are stages. Sarupa is like eventually the soul starts looking like the Ishta himself. That means if a person is Krishna Bhakta, he's so Krishnamayi that he starts looking like Krishna. He's so close in the aura of Krishna. And eventually, Sayuja means the soul completely merges in the Ishta, in the Devata, in the portal completely, and obviously dissolves the identity completely, dissolve the identity. And in the Videha Mukti, as well as in the Jivan Mukti, rebirth is not there. That means they are not born again. They are not born again. Whether it is Videha Mukti, where the soul, after leaving the body, goes to Brahmalok, and it stays in the Ishta portal for a long, long time until the Kalpa ends. When the Kalpa ends, then the soul is merged with the Nirgun Paramatma, with the Nirgun Brahma. Whether it is Videha Mukti or it is Jivan Mukti, it is the end is merger with the Nirgun Paramatma. That's how the cycle ends. And life after life, when the awakening call comes for all of us, then there is a urge to know everything about God and everything about the Brahman. Then we go through various philosophies, Dvaita, Advaita, to understand whether the Ishta Devata is there and I am here, or the Advaitic, where so I am the source of all creation and everything is happening through me. The Advaita philosophy. The Advaita is the pinnacle of Anubhav. The Advaita philosophy is experiential philosophy, and it is not something that anybody can just understand with the head and can become the Brahman. No, it has to be experienced that me and the world and the Brahman are one. In fact, the Brahman alone is I and the world are not there. That experience it's a paroksha anubhav, and that for that it's a pinnacle. So one can aim for that. When we are on the path of liberation, not talking about the path of liberation, when we are on the path of liberation, we are on the path of liberation. That needs to be known to everyone, whether it is an ignorant man, completely non-believer of spiritual practices or gods and goddesses, whether he is a completely ignorant man, he is also on the path of liberation, but he does not know. And then the awakened being, like all of you here, the awakened being, the search has started, and in this lifetime you're searching, 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 exploring, exploring, exploring. Sometimes you don't understand, oh, am I nurturing my ego, or am I nurturing my soul? Does the soul require nurturing? You go through various stages. The Jivan Mukta, like Videha Mukti I spoke about just now, the other part of it, other part of liberation, others who go into liberation, they get liberated. The Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukti happens in this lifetime. And this is my subject of focus more than anything else, Jivan Mukti. This is the subject of focus of all Vedantins, all people who are into Vedantic study. Jivan Mukti means while you're alive, you're liberated. While you're alive, you're liberated, and these after death are taken, straight away into consciousness. Jivan Muktas, when they die, they merge with divine consciousness. They may go through Krama Mukti if there is any remnant left, but otherwise they merge directly into Paramatma, Nirgun Paramatma. And while they're alive, they're one with the Brahman. So Jivan Mukti means that while the person is alive, he has completely realized Brahman, and he understands the world and himself as an illusion, and he understands that this is Brahman operating in all senses, in all ways. It's Brahman meeting the Brahman, talking to Brahman, creating another Brahman. It's like that. That there is only Brahman operating. It's like the Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir shloka in Bhagavad Gita. It says Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaevatena Gantavram Brahma Karma Samadhina. It's the Brahma offering the ghee in the ladle of Brahma into the fire of Brahma. The Brahman is offering the ghee. The ghee the ghee is of Brahman, goes into the fire of Brahman, and everything is Brahman. So it is something like that. So the Advaitic pursuance is there through Dvaita many times. If I am not convinced about the Dvaita, I have not realized the Dvaita, then it is better to go through the Dvait path. You will arrive at the Advaitic path. That's why Sagun Upasana is very healthy, very easy, very nice. Sagun Upasana means you make an icon. What is Sagun Upasana? Saguna Upasana means you make an icon for Paramatma. Theoretically, you know that everything is Brahman here, consciousness here. So you make an icon, you make a Ishtadevta, choose a deity, that feels close to your heart. You choose the deity, and then you start doing upasana on the deity. That means you chalk down your regular discipline for your upasana. meditation, japa, or some kind of a stotra recitation, worship as much as you feel like doing, and in the freedom of your own heart, understand how I can get closer and closer to my Ishta. How can I get closer and closer to this Devi, the Sri Chakra that you are worshipping? How can I get closer and closer to this Lalita that I am worshipping, or to this Ganesha that I am worshipping? And how can I dissolve everything that is in between me and the Ganesha? This path will take you to Advaitic realization, and jivan mukti is experienced in this life. Now, jivan mukti, or that means that realizing that Brahman is the only truth, and that is operating in all the areas of your life, and everybody who is interacting with you is Brahman itself. Again, another shloka, beautiful one that is very close to my heart. Avjananti mamudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam janataha mama bhuta maheshwaram. Says that, know that every interaction, the shloka is of course referring to Krishna's conversation with Arjun, and says that people look at me as if I'm Krishna, a human being, but know that I am bhuta maheshwaram. He's telling Arjuna. However, the shloka has a deeper meaning where it says that every person you are interacting with in the world, the Brahman is interacting with you. The Brahman is interacting with you and giving you dialogues and experiences that you require for transcendence in this life. So all the uneven, unruly, unpleasant experiences and dialogues are your lessons, and you need to silently go through them, churn them, masticate them, and understand what is it teaching you. Is it instigating you to have strength to cross them? Is it instigating you? Nothing is abusing you. Everything is instigating you. And when I say you, I mean the ego you, who is supposed to do something for his jivan mukti. You are supposed to do something for your jivan mukti. So jivan mukti, the last stage of liberation that you can experience while you're alive, has to go through several stages. The first stage being that you understand the mechanism of life. You understand the mechanism of life. Like the jnana that I mentioned in the picture is paroksha jnana, aparoksha jnana. Both these have to be pursued. If you want jivan mukti, sagun upasana and videha mukti is saral. It's very deep marked path. However, people are not able to surrender to the Ishta Devta, and they are not able to finish their identity with the Ishta Devta. That's why people explore jivan mukti. Okay, I would like to be liberated while I'm alive. All right. So even this is not easy. This requires a lot of intellectual churning, Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan on the basic truth. So this Jivan Mukti will also go through various stages. For a common man like you and me, what are the stages? Stages is first to understand the science. Paroksha Jnana. Paroksha Jnana means to understand the science and the philosophy of life completely. Understand the mechanism inside your body. Understand the mechanism of your mind and intellect and ego and chitta. Man, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, you understand thoroughly, microanalysis. Every day, understand. Someone is talking to me, which part of me is listening? The ego personality, what I say, I am Ma, has several shoots, branches. Like they say, the ego is like a 100-headed snake on which Krishna is dancing. It's 100 heads. That means the ego personality sprouts and shoots out into so many facets. There's a mother ego, there's a woman ego, there's a child ego in me. We have infancy problem, we have upbringing problems, parental issues are there. There is a woman problem. The woman or the man in you has suffered for la 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 la. Then there is a teacher in me. There's a teacher ego. There is a Vedantin ego. So many forms of ego, and all of these need to be dissolved. It's a big problem. First of all, I have to understand how many kinds of ego I am having. And it's not me, it's all of you. If different kinds of ego you are having. Somebody says something to me, your daughter ego gets hurt. Your mother said something, daughter ego gets hurt. The child ego gets hurt. You feel threatened. The husband has said something, the wife ego gets hurt. How can he say something to me like this? This is the woman ego. Somebody says something, some body shaming is happening, then the woman ego gets hurt. So the ego is battling with the circumstances all the time. And jivan mukti is very far away if you don't even recognize that this ego is being pinpointed, pricked every moment. All right. So then the mind is like another manufacturing unit, non-stop manufacturing unit, where only time it shuts down is in the deep sleep state, when the mind coils, the prana and the prana coils in the mind coils in the consciousness in the deep sleep state. And in the deep sleep state, for that just 1 or 2 hours that you deep sleep at night, the mind is not working, intellect is not working, ego is not working, chitta is not working. Everything gets coiled up into the consciousness. And there is only the apana vayu in the body, and the body is almost like dead. The body is almost like that. The apana vayu takes care. It's like a watchman moving around, and the body takes care of your body. Rest, everything has gone to sleep. So deep sleep state is very important. We talk about the paroksha jnana. Paroksha jnana is like a huge literature that you must introduce yourself to, and various sages, teachers, saints, our masters that have been there on this land have given us various formulas to pursue Jivan Mukti, Vedanta, especially, excels in this goal of attaining Jivan Mukti. Absolutely, excels, because it gives you the science of life, the science of Brahman, how the Brahman creates a projection, and how this projection is self-sustaining. The projection is self-sustaining because Maya is self-sustaining. It's only in the deep sleep state that it is withdrawn and gone into consciousness. And the deep sleep state for this lifetime is death. When death happens, then everything coils and goes into consciousness and comes again alive into a new life that is born. So our lessons, what are there in the Brahma Gyan Sutra, are based on this Paroksha Jnana. Each of the sutra, there are 25 sutras given by Gurudev. Each of the sutra opens up a book of Paroksha Jnana, supported by aparoksha jnana seeking of aparoksha jnana. That means if someone is in the path of Jivan Mukti, he should pursue both paroksha jnana and aparoksha jnana. Paroksha jnana with a belief that this has been given by our seers, so I believe in this. It's like you start an algebra equation saying that the value of x is equal to, let me assume it to be 2, and then you do the whole equation, and then you arrive at an inference that yes, x is equal to 2. So it's like that. You have to begin with belief in Shabda Pramana. It's taken as one of the Pramans. We have, Pramanas are there. There are Pramanas that are given that which knowledge is authentic knowledge, because there's so much of knowledge everywhere. Which knowledge is authentic knowledge? That which is a Praman is Shabda, is considered to be authentic. That means that which comes from the Vedic heritage is authentic knowledge. So you take that. Even now, even if you take it from the Vedas, from the Upanishad, for you it is a hypothesis because you have not experienced it. But we take it to be the truth because it is coming from the sages. We take that. Now we start our exploration into the seeking of aparoksha jnana. Now we start, and how this is done. So there is Jnana Yoga with Paroksha Jnana. That means that we do Jnana Yoga, seven of Jnana Yoga through the Upanishads, through the Bhagavad Gita, through whatever is written in the scriptures, etc. The four things that have been taken into our Brahma Gyan Sutras, wisdom from the Upanishads, from Atma Bodh, from Bhagavad Gita, and what Gurudev has directly said. These four things have been incorporated into our Brahma Gyan Sutra for the Paroksha Jnana. Simultaneously, initiations to meditation, contemplation. What we say, Manan and Chintan, Manan and Shravan Manan Chintan, Nididhyasan, what we say, this also has to be taught. How do you do that? How do you contemplate? How do you just say one sentence and sit down with that one sentence to let that convert into an anubhav or an experience? In the coming days, then you experience that outside in the world. For many of you students who are very close to me, you get these sentences, bold sentences in your head. Knowledge sprouts from within in your head. And you write to me, all of you write to me, everybody writes to me, and you share your knowledge with me. You share, Ma, I was doing this and this, I suddenly felt this. Is this true? You need my validation. You write to me. Is this true? Does this mean this? Does this mean this? So the sprouting happens in your brain cells. A paroksha anubhav happens when paroksha is given amply to your mind and brain. So it is important, therefore, to study the scriptures. Many people ask me, Ma, is it important to study the scriptures? Especially those who are in bhakti. Those who are in bhakti say, Ma, is it important to study the scriptures or to study all of this, which is so much of intellectual cramming? Is it important? I said, no, it's not important. If you are able to dissolve yourself in bhakti completely and surrender to the Ishta Devata, and you find that you are completely washed out, that you don't require, because he himself will give you the jnana. Brahmagyan himself, the Ishta will give you. You don't require it then. But be honest with yourself. Are you able to so surrender? If you are not able to so surrender, then the Paroksha Jnana is important. Then, so simultaneously, wisdom says, my wisdom says, Gurudev's wisdom says, and I have followed this path. Pursue all the three paths together. Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, practice it together to the proportion of your personality. If you are more of a Jnana Yogi, intellectually oriented, more of Jnana Yoga, cultivate Bhakti Yoga in you. Teach yourself to do Bhakti a little bit. Can I do without Bhakti Yoga? Somebody asked me that day. I am on the path of meditation, Nirgun Upasana. I do Nirgun Upasana, and I don't feel the need for any Bhakti. So I don't feel that this itself speaks about ignorance in the head. That knowing all the scriptures, if you have read all the 10 Upanishads and you have read Bhagavad Gita and you feel that bhakti is not important, then something is missing in the understanding and interpretation. Because bhakti is born as a natural love for God, even to a jnana yogi. Even to a jnana yogi, bhakti will be born in the heart like a natural urge to love God. It comes, when you start noticing things outside, when you start noticing there's so much of Brahmit transactions outside. Everybody is dissolved in the illusion outside, and everybody is completely lost in the world with transactions which are so unreal. Then you start observing nature. You start observing nature and you observe cycles of nature. Bhakti starts sprouting from inside, even to a jnana yogi. Similarly with karma yoga, if I'm living a straight life, somebody asked me the other day again in the group, I'm living a straight life and no aberrations, no left, right, absolute straight line on my dharma. I do all my duties relentlessly, honestly. And is it important for me to do any kind of worship? Or is it important for me to meditate and to sit and read all these Upanishads? I said, no, at this point, if you don't feel the need, then you don't need it. But at some point, you will feel the need. At some point you will feel the need that something is missing in my life. And if not in this life, there are many lifetimes. This lifetime is not the story of your life. There's so much more ahead. So a realization of amalgamating, integrating karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga comes. And in the right proportion, you will take it. Now, what is this for? To become a jivan mukt. Who is a jivan mukt? First of all, the stages, like I said, Jivan Mukti also has stages. The first stage is that there is a voice in your head, there is awareness in your mind that is created. This is the first stage of Jivan Mukti, where there is a me in me that is talking to me all the time. There is a person inside me that is watching everything that I am doing. There is a person inside me. There is another aspect of me that is born and standing erect. And slowly, steadily on this path of Jivan Mukti, this me in me becomes bigger and bigger, taller and taller. And this me, which is Ma, becomes smaller and smaller. So when this awareness, or this me in me, this is also called a drashta. When this me in me becomes very tall and big, then whatever is happening to this other me does not matter. Whether she is being insulted, whether she is being beaten up, whether she loses or she wins, it does not matter. Somebody eulogizes, somebody praises, somebody criticizes, it does not matter. Because this me now is small and the other me is very big. This is the first stage of your Jivan Mukti, where now nothing or fewer things are bothering you. Fewer things are bothering you, and the chinta of life, of money, of job, of everything. The chinta is there. It is there. Like I always say in many of my classes, I've said the biggest suffering on earth, as human beings, though this is an illusory world, the biggest illusion and the biggest suffering inside this illusion is that of a disease or a sickness, when a person is really sick, and the second is that of financial trouble. When the person is attached to many people, if one person, single person has financial trouble, he can just become a wanderer and doesn't bother about this financial trouble. But if he is having his kith and kin with him, children, wife, in responsibilities, and then this financial trouble becomes a very big hurdle on his ego. It becomes too heavy on his ego because now he wants to get rid of this in any which way. These two things are the most difficult things to handle. The rest of other things can be sorted out with the mind. Relationships, issues, death, anything that one faces can be sorted out with the mind and intellect. But these two things are a big struggle. So when you're on the path of jivan mukti, if you are able to raise this awareness so high that the other you is suffering. I have given this example several times before also. One of the persons that I knew, somebody's aunt, a very close student of mine, her aunt was a ardent Bhagavad Gita follower and a teacher of Bhagavad Gita. She was to teach Bhagavad Gita. She had blood cancer. She was in pain. She was in bed. There was a constant smile on her face, and she was chanting till the last breath. And there was no suffering. Suffering can be transcended when this awareness becomes big and when you become small. That it can be transcended. Any level of suffering can be transcended. However, it's difficult when these two things are afflicting a person. Very, very difficult. So first stage of your jivan mukti is to start developing this awareness. That watch everything that you're doing. Watch everything that you're doing and start partaking, eating, consuming the paroksha jnana. That means start reading the scriptural wisdom whenever lessons are available. Start, and you find a good teacher, don't leave the teacher. Never leave the teacher if you find a good teacher, because that is going into your head. Now don't stop the drilling process. Don't stop there. Oh, I've had enough. I'm saturated. No, you're never saturated with wisdom. And if you get saturated with wisdom, then your path is closed for this lifetime. You have to keep giving yourself exposure to the satsang, to the proper satsang. And if you think I've done enough, I know enough, and I'm done. No, that's never true. So for the paroksha jnana, as much knowledge, authentic knowledge you get from a good teacher, never stop studying. Keep your study on. And support with withdrawal, pratyahar. Start doing a lot of pratyahar. Stop indulging into unnecessary conversations and unnecessary entanglement in the world. Where there is argument, move away from there. Make friends with friends, friendly, good people, satsangi. Make your own satsang, and have compassion for people who are dukhi and going through trauma. Have compassion for them. And associate yourself all the time with encouraging company, and do pratyahar. Pratyahar means even your own dependencies. Scan yourself and start analyzing yourself. The equation of uncomplaining self-reliance, what I always give a formula: uncomplaining self-reliance. That means how much you're dependent for so many things on others, physically, financially, materially. All this dependency should be reduced, and emotionally very independent. Emotionally very independent, where you're non-complaining, uncomplaining self-reliance. I depend on myself. This will be probably the first step to your jivan mukti. Increasing your awareness day by day, making it stronger and stronger and stronger, making it bigger and bigger and bigger. What I'm doing now, you get angry. Okay, why did I get angry? Now you're feeling sad, you're crying. Why are you crying? Start tracking the root of where this begins. So the self-awareness and uncomplaining self-reliance become one of the foundation steps to your jivan mukti. And as you go ahead, you support it with your aparoksha anubhav, meditation, upasana, to be done every day. When you do that every day, every day, every day, every day, then this, what you're reading, will get converted into wisdom and assimilate. In your meditation, when you sit and meditate, all that you have read assimilates. It's absorbed by the brain. It's absorbed by your system, by the cells. All the cells of your body are self-independent mechanism. They are self-independent. That means every cell of your body is like a universe. Every cell of your body has antakarna. Every cell of your body has soul. That means it's an independent structure. Every cell of your body is an independent structure. There is soul in it. There is a gross body, subtle body, causal body. We'll be studying about these bodies in detail also in our Brahma Gyan Sutras course. Every cell of your body is independent. So all the cells of your body absorb this knowledge. So meditation becomes an important aspect. And to refine your meditation, what are the things needed to make your meditation really deep and progressive towards samadhi? What are the things needed? We will be discussing this as well. This requires, your proper training of a guru. It requires a proper training of a guru. So for jivan mukti, which is a beautiful goal for all of you, for all of us, and I keep that as a goal for all my courses as well, that everybody should become very aware. A, know everything about the self mechanism. B, know everything how the world is functioning. Know everything about how this is not really happening to the real me. It's not happening to the real me. I am the one, which is watching all of this happening to the false me, to the ego identity, and how to create the distance between this real me and the other me, is what the path of Jivan Mukti is offering to you. All right. So let me share this picture with you to give you a gist of what I've said just now. And I'll attend to these questions after a while. Okay. So, I don't know how to, yeah, now it's clear. Okay, so liberation, two things that I spoke about, Videha Mukti and Jivan Mukti. Okay, Videha Mukti means they get liberated after physical body dies, and this normally happens to people who are in Saguna Upasana. Saguna Upasana means they have decided the Ishta Devata and they are doing the Ishta Devata Puja every day in whichever way has been recommended to them by their Guru. Whichever Paddhati they are following, whichever Sampradaya they are following, what kind of, like for instance, in the 1,000 adorations, I gave you suggestions of how you could do the Sri Puja, how you could do Bhakti with Lalita, and how you can invoke her with the mantra, with the Panchadashi mantra, with the Lalita Sahasranam, with Khargamala, with the Sri Puja as the Sri Chakra, understanding it as the body of our, our body being the yantra, etc. We have done a lot of it. Similarly, Ganesh Upasaks who are there with me, I have given you the mantra and the Upanishad, and given you the practice sessions, etc. All right. So if a person is able to dissolve himself and give himself completely to the Ishta Devata, then they get liberated after physical body dies. Salokya goes to the Ishtaloka, Samipya enjoys close proximity, Sarupya blissfully absorbed in that form. He feels like he is a Ganesha, and also the tanma in the sarupya, the tanmatras, while the person is living, the tanmatras change and he is able to see his ishtadeta everywhere. You can see the Ganesha in the mountain, you can see the Devi here and there, whichever is the ishtadevata. And then sayujja, completely merged with the ishtadevata. This happens after death. This happens when the body dies. They get Krama Mukti and they are not born again and become one with the Nirgun Paramatma eventually. All right. Sagun Upasana or Nirgun Upasana can lead you to Jivan Mukti. That means Jivan Mukti is not only for Nirgun Upasaks. That means only those who are not believing in Ishtadevta. No, Jivan Mukti can be achieved by also people who are in Sagun Upasana and they are doing Jnana Yoga Sevan also. That means that if you have a Ishta Devata and you are inquiring, your study of Vedanta is going on, this becomes a very easy path to Jivan Mukti, where you are doing both Sagun Upasana as well as Nirgun Upasana, understanding, knowing that this Ishta Devata is going to take me into Brahman and it is going to dissolve into the Paramatma. So Jivan Mukti is a state of liberation experienced while someone is alive, lives a life of freedom and wisdom. What is the first advantage, first outcome of Jivan Mukti pursuance? That you will live a life of freedom and wisdom. You will start feeling very light. Even the first stage of Jivan Mukti, like I said, that when you develop your awareness, Most of the people who are here in this forum, my students, are on this first stage. You have experienced this stage where you feel very light now. Now you don't personalize everything. Whatever dialogues are happening, you're not personalizing everything. Your me in me that is watching the me has become quite steady. All right, this is the first stage. Then he lives a life of freedom and wisdom, realizes identity with Brahman, realizes more and more you will understand that this is Brahman interacting with me, transcends the limitation of ego in the world. So ego is less challenged. Ego is less challenged. The world is less challenging. Out there, my performance is less challenging, less pressurizing, less stressful. All right. Paroksha Jnana. What are the means for the Jivan Mukti? Paroksha Jnana, knowledge of scriptures and self inquiry. Aparoksha Jnana, experiencing the Brahman through clarity of thought, meditation, and contemplation on truth. All right. This is the path of Jivan Mukti. This is the path of Videha Mukti. What is Krama Mukti? Krama Mukti, according to scriptures, a person who has intensely meditated on Sagun Brahman, using yogic tools, also people who are following the yoga path, where the Kundalini yoga or the Raja yoga, the Ashtanga Marga, even for those this applies. So, a person who has intensely meditated on Sagun Brahman using yogic tools, Nada Upasana and Sagun Upasana on his chosen deity, goes after death to Brahmalok. There he attains knowledge of Nirgun Brahma. Under the guidance of exalted beings and Brahma himself, he gains liberation and becomes one with the Nirgun Brahman. This is called Krama Mukti. To a Jivan Mukta, Brahman alone is real and the world is illusory. The body and the world are like a dream. He is aware of everything that is happening to him and his mind body. He is aware. Pet dukh raha hai, the body is paining, I'm getting challenged, I'm feeling sad, it is touching some inner child in me, it is triggering something very bad in me, the woman in me is getting challenged. So there's a constant observation and analysis of the me in me. Okay. So he's aware of everything that is happening to him and his mind body. He transcends the mind body in his awareness and doesn't suffer nor gets lost in the experience. He identifies with the reality of Brahman 24 by 7. Then this is where he is progressing towards Jivan Mukti. While he is alive, so he doesn't bother about any time. I always tell my students that don't think about liberation after death. Kya hone wala hai mera? There's no need to think. You feel liberated and be liberated and transcend your experiences of life while you're alive. That is what you should aim at. What happens to you after that is not your business, that's God's business, because you won't be there. Who is tracking last life? I always say last life you had some children. Are you attached to them now? You had a mother and father in last life. Are you crying for that mother and father now? No, you are only bothered about your this life story. This is my child. I'm worried about him. I'm caring for her or him. This is my wife. I'm possessive about her. This is my husband. I care for him. You had a husband last life also. Are you possessive about him now? You are not. So after death, what happens to you? How are you bothered? That's God's business. Let him do it. You be bothered about this life. And if there is any mukti you should chase, it should be Jivan Mukti, that while you're alive, on your deathbed, you're completely free floating and ready to be embraced by the Lord. Period. You're liberated. What happens to you after he takes you there is it's not our business at all. Get my point? So that there was okay, let me understand these questions here. There are many of them. Hmm. Me in me for Jivan Mukti fans gaye in this journey, Ujjwal ji. Yes, everything is Brahman. Then how to recognize who is my Ishta Devata? Priya Gupta. uh, Ishtadevta, you will have to choose with your head and with your ego what appeals to you. Because the science says that Nirguna Upasana is very effective, very nice, but difficult. Whereas Saguna Upasana is easy because now you made an icon. So the array of gods and goddesses you have, you may be having Ishtadevta in your family tradition, or many of your friends are, or you get attracted more to Krishna, more to Rama, more to Ganesha. Choose one and be completely wedded to him all your life. Take that as an icon to Paramatma. Do his upasana, his mantra, meditation till the last breath. And that should sort out the Sagunupasana part. And in the course of your Sagunupasana, suppose you have taken Ganesha, Mahaganpati, Mula Mantra you're doing, and you're doing Atharva Shirša Upanishad, but frankly speaking, you find no connection with him, which is quite normal. You don't find any connection with him or any connection with what you're reading in the Upanishad. But you're doing it because Ma has told you, so you do that. And keep more focus on your meditation, Nirguna Upasana, not a problem. Keep more focus on your Nirguna Upasana, not a problem. Progress more over there, increase your timing of meditation more and more. Let the Saguna Upasana be there as a part of your Guru lineage. It will protect you. It will serve the purpose of your making your Nirguna Upasana better. Get my point? So you can keep your focus more on Nirgun if it is more helpful that way. You can balance Saguna and Nirgun the way you like. There are so many domestic desires, Tanmay. We see others pursuing something and our ego wants it. Yes, I find that the pursuit of liberation, as it is currently expressed in the populace, is largely yes, it absolutely can be. If it's not a genuine hook or a genuine urge, then forget about it. Then enjoy life. God has created this world to enjoy, to be enjoyed. Enjoy your path, your worldly path, your materialistic path, and keep a balance of reading that appeals to you honestly. You have to come in integrity for sure. I completely agree with what you say, that it's not necessary that everybody is pursuing liberation. And it is more like a copy. Everybody is pursuing liberation, so even I'm pursuing. Don't say that at all to yourself. Live your life colorfully, beautifully, but be aware. That makes your life more holistically complete and fulfilling. So these studies, what we do, are not just for people who are pursuing moksha, but it's also for people who want to make their life hassle-free. Hassle-free, hiccups, without any hiccups or without any stress, or not to suffer with the inflictions of the world and the illusion. All right. So one needs to ask, why is the pursuit of liberation so important? Is it born out of desire to escape the pain of life? Is it born to escape the pain of separation from our true self? I find that if we realize that we are and will always be our true divine self, the pain of separation itself falls away, because there is no real separation. Completely true. That is Advaitic realization, not Tanmay. Why people don't realize, they always feel separated from God. So if life is understood to be game creation that the creator is experiencing, then the pain of life is, yes, it's a theoretical statement, beta. Tanmay, this is a theoretical statement because we read this. This is realization of seers. The statement is true. The seers have realized this and they have written in the books. And when we read it, it appeals to our heart. However, it is still not realized in the heart, right? If realization truly happens, especially Advaitic realization truly happens, then a person will go completely silent. Then the person will go completely silent. Then there is nothing to explain. There is nothing to complain. There is nothing to say anything to anybody, because his experience is the ultimate. उसके बाद कुछ बचा ही नहीं है. ठीक है? Yes, so it seems that the only liberation worthy of pursuit is liberation from ignorance and illusion. That's the first step of jivan mukti, Tanmay. All other pursuits of liberation are meaningless. Did you get it, what I said? Okay. Yes. Does bhakti need, Jyotsna is asking, does bhakti need to follow the ritualistic practices, or just loving God, praying and expressing gratitude in silence and reading scriptures enough? I'm not aware of the rituals so much. To me, bhakti means love. Absolutely right, Jyotsna. It is self-defined. Bhakti should always be self-defined. And rituals self-designed, self-created. And having love for God and expressing gratitude in silence, perfect, absolutely. And reading scriptures. Yes, reading scriptures is an important aspect. Suppose someone says, I love my God and I express my gratitude in silence. I think this much bhakti is enough. Then I would probably have a question mark in my mind that how much time are you spending with this contemplation? This is an important, if you come in a belief that I love my God and I am, I worship him in my silence and I'm not tying myself, the ego system, listen to this carefully, the ego system, the karma indriyas and the jnana indriyas need to be tied to routines, because if they're not tied, then they go exploring into unnecessary lanes and by lanes. All right. So people are trying. I know a lot of people are trying some kinds of plant medicines to transcend, and they are trying all of this, and they're searching for all of this because they're giving themselves enough time to do the Velapanti. Don't do that. In India, rituals are there because it keeps the person tied to certain routine. So reading the avarans of a stotra, or doing the avarans, like you do parayans, read this 20 times, 21 times, or you do mantra japa. So you're tied up, 1.5 hour, you're tied up. And then the ego gets tired. Now he's not searching for anything. He's satisfied and happy with the routine that he's set for himself. That is the importance of rituals. They can be self-designed. They should be self-designed without fear, practiced with absolute love, and can be molded the way you like it. All right. At least 1.5 hour of upasana should be done every day. Totally. I mean, people are working, they're having 13, 14 hours, 15 hours of working time, I understand. So at least 1 hour for them, and people who are having time, at least 2 hours, an hour in the morning, hour in the evening should be good. Can there be two Ishta Devatas, Ganesh and Ram? Yes, why not? But ultimately, you have to come into one. Ultimately, you have to come into one. When you say Ishta Devatas, Ganesh and Ram, that means you're doing two upasanas, absolutely all right. But keep your focus on one, and there is convergence of energy. Your upasana system is basically training your pranic system to converge into one point. So the 2 points, they're going into two again, So because the brain understands Rama as different from Ganesha. If you understand them as one, then well, that's great. But your practices, your prana focus and practices should be converging to one point. That's why one is recommended. Get it? Can we view liberation as being different from and of course, to continue with what you're saying, if there's equal love for Ganesha and Rama, and then you can pursue the stotras, mantra japas, etc. for both of them, then spend more time in Nirgunupasana. Then instead of focusing on the Ishta Devta for your final emancipation, focus on Nirgunupasana. After you have done your upasana for Ganesha and Rama because you love them, then take out time and do Nirgunupasana for a long time. That is recommended then. Can we view liberation as being different from the freedom of cycle of rebirth? Is end of rebirth the end goal? Can't jivan mukti, videha mukti in this life provide constant experience which doesn't get affected on rebirth if it happens? Yes. CG, GG. Yes, what you have said are like stages. What you have said are like stages. So liberation has been different from freedom of the cycle of rebirth. It is different when you begin or your path and where you are. This is a stage. So there are different stages, and then they culminate into what we call end goal. That birth is not happening again. And as I said in the beginning, of some minutes before, that one need not think about what is happening, whether I'm born again or not born again. That shouldn't be bothering on the mind or laying heavy on the mind, that I don't want to be born again, don't want to be born again. Mostly, when I hear people talk about this, it is mostly ego talking, to end his suffering. When someone says that to me, I don't want to be born again, and I've had enough of this world. When someone says something, I can understand that it's coming from his ego being battered at some point or the other, or feeling helplessly involved in the illusory life. And he realizes that it's exasperating and I don't want it. So it's basically your ego speaking that I don't want to be born again. The I will not be there only when you die. So some other I will come. So how are you bothered whether that I is living or not living? Correct. So let us not talk about liberation, not being born again after that. What your sentence is, I would also say that one can focus on this life itself. Ma, is it possible to get a darshan of our Ishtadevta in this life? My heart desires to see Mahadev so much. Yes, this is 100% possible. Many people get darshans of Ishtadevta. In one of the recent podcasts that I have spoken about Maruts, I have said that the Marut powers in your body, grace, consciousness comes out with a huge outburst of the Marut Pavans and creates the Devata, your Ishta Devata in front of you. A darshan is created. Many people, countable people have had darshans of the Ishta Devata. 100% possible. आरती में बोलते हैं, in Marathi we say the आरती, सुख करता दुख हरता वार्ता विघ्नाची दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ति. We say there is a sentence, darshan matre mana kamana purti. That is my only kamana, that I have your darshan. So it's a part of the bhakti system that the sadhak wants to see his devata alive, and it is possible. Many people have seen it. I like to chant Ram Nama, love to go to Ganesha temple. Very good. Roina, with each learning, the feeling is that the syllabus is increasing. Yes, Roina. And yet it is shrinking. It is increasing and yet it is shrinking. By the end of these 6 months of Brahma Gyan Sutras, there will just be dot and complete silence in everyone's mind. I can assure that to you. Bodhanand, mother being a Gandharva or Yaksha or other higher lokas also would be called liberation. If yes, then who decides the soul is resting with Ishta or these lokas till Kalpa gets over? Consciousness decides, Paramatma decides, and being with Gandharva and Yakshas would not be called liberation, but it is one of the, samipya kind of a stage of liberation. These 4 words that I shared in the picture, these are 4 stages of the Videha Mukti. So they would be there, and when the Kalpa gets over, then Paramatma would take them through Krama Mukti and liberate and go into consciousness again, back into consciousness again. So who decides? Paramatma decides. Okay. My meditation is reading Hanuman Chalisa, but while in my meditation, I keep thinking, is Hanumanji listening to me? Who is thinking Hanumanji is listening or not? Joe, this is you, the ego thinking Hanumanji is listening, or the Brahman is saying the Hanuman Chalisa, and Brahman is the Hanuman and listening to them. So where is you in the middle? You should not be there. Just say it, say it, say it. That's it. And then I go into internet and start looking benefits of reading Hanuman Chalisa, that the ego is, yes, Chalisa, to get the assurance this is happening for years now. How do I get liberated from this feeling? I'll liberate you, don't worry, Joe. You have joined the Brahma Gyan Sutras, you are there with me now. First class, you will be liberated, I assure you. How can we detach the things? Any one word जो हम अपने मन को बोलते रहे. How can we get detached to things? Yes, any one word. A dialogue, you can make a statement, Saisha. You can make a statement in your head that suppose I'm crying, for someone said something hurtful to me, I'm crying. Immediately there should be a voice in my head. Kyun ro rahi hai ab? Why are you crying? And that should, okay, he said something and this is hurtful, and who is hurt? The child in me is hurt. All right, the child is, are you a child now? No. Are you bigger than what you are? Yes. So it can be negated, cross, 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 cross. The crying ends. So detachment is created eventually over a long period of time when you constantly self-inquire. Self-inquiry, who is getting hurt, who is crying, who is getting angry, why are you getting angry? Stop, don't get angry. So the voice in me, that has to be cultivated. The me in me has to be cultivated and made stronger and bigger. Are there many people dependent on the avatar we have taken? In Bhagavad Gita, karma is given most important. Should our karmas be towards the people who are dependent on us by not getting affected by results are coming? Yeah, who's this? Abhishek. Abhishek, the dharma karma is a big, Rinanubandhan trap, and one has to live the dharma, and one cannot think about, too much about liberation, until इसलिए ashram bane hain. That is why we have these ashrams, that when you are in Gurukul, don't think about what you're going to do when you'll be married and when you'll have a shop and when you will get money. When you are in Grihasthi, don't think about what you'll do when sannyas will happen and this and the Grihasthi mein, pura Grihasthi mein raho. That means when you're in Grihasthi, be 100% in the Grihasthi, fulfilling all your dharmas, dedicate 1 hour for your upasana every day, for sure. That is for you. That is what that, because swadharma is important as well. Even all your other dharmas, your role as a husband, as a father, your role as a officer in the bank, your role in the neighborhood as a very important citizen, etc. There is swadharma also. That means the dharma I have to myself, towards myself. For the swadharma, 1 hour has to be taken out every day to keep the light ignited, to keep the jigyasa ignited, to keep the learning and the pursuance of the truth ignited. And then at the stage of your ashram, when the grihastashram comes to an end, then you can have a vanprastha and sannyas with your spouse or without your spouse. All right? Can you share more if one feels Tarama? So nice to have you here, Tarama. So beautiful. Can you share more if one feels the divine within and in everything and aware of when the ego shows itself? Regular upasana as determined by the inner guru continues. Yes, of course. When someone is born with this kind of awareness, then that means that in your previous lifetimes you have done some form of upasana, which is why you're born with this level of understanding, and that is 100% yes. Such people normally engage more in karma yoga. Such people normally engage more in karma yoga, where they would like to keep their karmendriyas busy doing seva and doing effective work in the society, and consciously surrendering all of that to the divine, consciously doing all of that for the divine. Yat karoshi, yadasnashi, yajjuhoshi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunte, tat kurushva madarpanam. Again, one of my very favorite shlokas, that whatever you are doing, whatever you are day-to-day basis, whatever you're doing, even your tapasya, keep surrendering it to me, keep offering it to me. Then that is another way of pursuing jivan mukti. Yeah. I'm in love with Devi, but my love for Badri Vishal as Narayan is immense. I do Thakur Seva with full devotion, but I pray to Devi with full devotion. How I converge both? Like I said, do both if both are equally good, and spend more time on Nirguna Upasana. That is the path for people who really love all the gods and goddesses and would like to do on Monday doing this, Tuesday doing this, Wednesday doing this. They like to invoke all the gods and goddesses, do it. Then spend more time on Nirguna Upasana, where Parabrahma is the goal. That's where your prana needs to converge towards the end. With Hanumanji as Ishta Devta, people sometimes advise that either you get married or to have children, reduce or stop Hanumanji sadhana and move to another Devta due to the different energy required. Is there truth in this notion? Well, each one to himself, Shrikant. I don't believe in anything like that. The last person to believe in any should-bes given by people. Shruti Vakya is the last word for me. Shruti Vakya means what is written in the Vedas and Upanishad is the last word for me, not even in the Purans. Purans are also Smriti Vakya. They are not Shruti Vakya. So, and after that, people are there, experts are there, scholars are there who have said so many things. That's all human mind and human brain. I wouldn't believe in that. I would believe in what I experience. So, if you love Hanuman and you do the Hanuman Bhakti, Hanumanji himself will tell you what he needs you to do. All right, he will guide you. The Ishta will guide you. I always understood various forms of God energies and one formless quantum Nirakar. I call it Shiva, but I love reciting Hanuman Chalisa, reading Lalita, and also reading Gurbani. How shall I channelize this into one? Is there anything wrong in seeing God through many roofs, knowing that ultimately my manifestation of one boundless God? Yes, exactly what I said just now, Jyotsna, that you can worship all of them because you feel godly love for all of them. Read their stotras, read about them, focus, worship them, have rituals for them, etc. But the Nirguna Upasana should become more prominent then. And normally for such people, Guru Upadesh or Guru Mantra should be, Japa is a very good tool for purification of the mind and for this assimilation of wisdom and knowledge. Japa is a very good tool. So if you're having so many devtas on the stand and you love all of them and can't decide between them, then take one Guru Mantra and do that. And Nirguna Upasana should be pursued relentlessly while worship side by side, worship all the gods and goddesses. Okay. Nowadays, I feel that I want to be born again and again to do more sadhana for Mahadev. Is it correct, or should I think for liberation? The I is thinking various combinations. Ronita, why don't you surrender it to your Mahadev? That you bring me again if you want me to do your seva, or let me merge in you. Finish. Being married and having a partner more into worldly life, how is it possible to go on path of jivan mukti way in spite of strong urge to follow the awareness path? Gita, let your husband do what he's doing. You do what you're doing and have a lot of love for him. Do this, do your seva, do your dharma in the house, and what happens to your path, leave it to your God. You cannot let go of your upasana. If he is involved in the worldly life, how are you involved into him? You should spend your time doing your bhakti and do the set of duties and the set of things that are expected. Love him. It's not, love is not anti bhakti. Love him and all those who are there, but you continue your sadhana relentlessly. That is your swadharma. You should do it. When thinking of liberation and preparing for it in our ways, if drifting away from current responsibilities, example as a mother, daughter, or a wife, or all the roles we have, would it impact our karmas and again come in path of liberation? How do you think? Yes, escaping from the karmas is not recommended. Do everything to the T. However, drift or friction happens because others who are unevolved, let's say, for example, even what Gita said, that the spouse is involved in a worldly sphere and you want to pursue your path of liberation. So, set of duties is going on, that is going on. You're doing everything to the T. Yet sometimes the unevolved partner or not involved in Jivan Mukti partner may want to, you to be involved in his work or appreciating him, or possessiveness, obsession happens sometimes, or you're becoming strong, or you're becoming independent, or you're becoming detached, starts affecting other people in the house. That happens. And that is something you have to be detached also for. If you are really on a path of liberation and there is a urge, if you're not neglecting any of your duties and you're doing everything to the T and pursuing your path, then be detached to the results of and opinions of people around you. You be detached to that. People have their own opinions. If there's something I have not done, I should be told I will do it. But other than that, my time is my time. My feelings are my feelings. If you want me now not to love Ganesha or Krishna, and you want me to put your photo there and want me to do upasana on you, that is not my dharma. You see, in patriarchal times, the word Pati Parmeshwar was given. It was given for this purpose only, because if women, start worshipping their Ishta Devta, they become very strong. And they get into upasana, daily upasana, they become very strong, they become very independent, and that becomes a big threat to the family life. So they said, Pati Parmeshwar hota hai, you should worship him. You get my point? Why the wife is not Parmeshwari? She should also be a Parmeshwari in that case. All right. Lovely. Ma, just getting the feeling nowadays that nothing is required except for Mahaganpati mantra. Is this feeling right? Yes, Padmanabh, absolutely. You're merging into the isness of your Ishtadevta, and that is what is required. What's the Mahaganpati mantra? What are the do's and don'ts of chanting it? Shivani Dubey, you please join the Mahaganpati group, send a message to me and start doing the Mahaganpati mantra and Ganesh Atharva Shirša Upanishad, and be in that group. So kuch na kuch kabhi kabhi hum dalte rehte hain, and you can message me privately if you want to start that as your upasana. What would be the way to join the Brahma Gyan Sutra course? Smita Devara, somebody has sent you the invite for this class, for this today's class. Ask her or him to, or you can message me directly. I will send you the details for the Brahma Gyan Sutras course. I will send you the link, course details, or you can ask the person who sent you the invite. He or she will share it with you. Throw some light on Nirgun Upasana. Nirgun Upasana, Sonali, is knowing Brahman, and normally people who are Vedantins and people who are already in Jivan Mukt state, they do Nirgun Upasana knowing Brahman as one, and looking at God only as light, and their upasana is pure meditation. The word upasana is very elaborate. In earlier times, in Vedic times, the word upasana meant only meditation. However, in coming times, upasana is a collective word of lighting the lamp, reading the stotra, doing the mantra japa, having a conversation with the devata, and then sitting into meditation. And this vidhi is normally done either in the as morning upasana or as evening upasana. And so meditation becomes one of the activities that you do in the upasana. But for nirgun upasana, other things may not be there at all. One would just sit into meditation, and that 1 hour spent. Upasana should be about 1 hour. When you read some stotra, do some mantras, have a tay with your God, let down everything. If there is something you want to distress yourself, just tell your devta, I spoke this to this. I fought with my boss, and I want to offer everything at your feet. And you just empty yourself completely, bow down, put your head on the ground, let your ego and intellect surrender to the Ishtadeta, then sit in meditation. For Nirguna Upasaks, you can just sit straight away. So what it means that Jivan Mukti, people already who are at the threshold of Jivan Mukti, they practice Nirguna Upasana, or people who are Vedantins who don't have any Ishtadevata Bhakti, they practice Nirguna Upasana, which means that is there is just silence for 1 hour, 2 hours, etc. And through the day also, they practice silence. Through the day also, so that is Nirguna Upasana, where you are practicing the presence of Brahman, you're being in the presence of Brahman, in the awareness of Brahman 24/7. From my childhood, I always pray Lord Shiva. This is Kamna. I talk to him, fight with him, cry. Whenever I got low, I remember. Along with that, I also do sadhana of Ganesha, Ma Durga, Ma Kali. At present, I'm doing sadhana Baglamukhi. I always feel Shiva guides me what to do next. Means Shiva is my Ishta Devta. Should I do sadhana of others along with? Yes, you can take Shiva as your Ishta Devta, and you can do sadhana of others as you feel like experimenting. At some point, your chitta will become shant, and you will not want to look beyond Shiva anywhere. That is the path. I'm in a place where it seems that I'm being asked to give up seva and just be. Not sure how to just be, but the light, be the light. Can you? Yeah, Nirguna Upasana Tarama. Nirguna Upasana should be increased. So 2 hours of meditation every day, and just being with nature in silence should be, however, one has to figure out what to do with the karmendriyas and the gyanendriyas. So reading, if you start reading the scriptures, or, bhashas or translations, or maybe teaching, also sharing your wisdom and isness with people, making small groups and sharing your wisdom, doing satsangs every day, that would give, quietness to your ego. The problem is always with the ego and with the indriyas. That's always the problem. That is why even big rishis, big saints, they keep themselves tied up to nitya karma. Nitya karma means we do homa every day. I do homa every day in the temple. It takes my half an hour, 45 minutes every day. Then I come up, I feel tired. Then I sit down for some time quietly. I read something. So these nitya karmas, it's not that any difference is going to happen in the world if I stop doing homa, or my doing homa is doing something great into the world. I don't believe in that. I have tied myself up to several things in the day because these karmendriyas and jnanendriyas will harass you otherwise. There's harassment. They go into it's like empty minds, devil's workshop. They harass you with all kinds of questions. So keep occupied. Maybe if you want to lessen down your karma yoga, jnana yoga, keep your attention focus on jnana yoga, and maybe just sharing wisdom with everyone. You will have to figure out how to tie your indriyas. How to identify whether one is escaping from life duties or it's a spiritual calling for upasana. Well, in any which way, even if it's a spiritual calling for upasana, you cannot escape from life duties, Anusha. That is not recommended. Or you don't enter into such agreements. When you enter into a family agreement, it's an agreement then. Then you have to be there and be available for all the duties. And upasana can be something that you do in your own time. So escaping from life duties could be defined करना चाहिए, going to a party or spending time in the evening every day, hanging out with your friends are not a part of your life duties. Or just watching the reels or watching a serial is not part of your life duties. Or just opening the door and standing with your next door flat member and talking about the servants is not your life duties. There are so many things you can withdraw from and yet find so much of time in your whole day to fulfill your duties and to do your upasana. There is enough of time. And sometimes you can get up and do it. I have practiced that in my life. Most of the people in my house used to wake up like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock sometimes. I would always get up at 3:30 in the morning and finish everything by 7 o'clock, go for my exercises, do my walk and everything, yoga. And then 9 o'clock, when everybody is awake and I'm available for everything. I'm available for all my duties. So you'll have to figure out your way to do it. You cannot escape duties for sure. Why does a particular soul has to go through extreme pain? Manjari, it's a part of the script. In the first class of the Brahma Gyan Sutras, this question is answered. Why do people have to go through whatever they go through? There is a science to it, and you need to understand it. It's a full-fledged lesson to understand that how the causal is manifesting, how it is chosen. There is one video on our YouTube channel called Karma and Destiny. Go through some of the videos. I think you'll get your answers. Also, there's one video called Karma and Destiny. There's another video of self-love. There is another video of the 1 hour classes of Sadhan Panchakam. You can go through these videos. You will probably find answer to your question. And if not, then take a committed study with me for 6 months. This course, which is starting next Sunday, could be the way out for you. When we truly fall in love with all our heart, without expectations or condition with human, doesn't even that love lead us to liberation, just like Radha or Krishna? Divine love lived in human form. Yes, Devrat, yes, that is also there, but that's very rare to be having that level of love. If people declare that kind of love, an infatuation or lustful love cannot be given the name of Radha Krishna. It cannot be. Human beings are helplessly in the sensual gratification mode. Human beings are always in sensual gratification mode. It is rarely, and such couples have become famous, Shri Farah and Romeo Juliet, and these are there in our history. We have had such couples. Probably they saw the God in their lover. They did. That's why they have become Amar and eternal. Their stories are spoken about even today. But that level of love and devotion, which destroys everything behind, if you keep your attention on any of such love stories which has ended into divine union, and was a relationship without any lust or without any human seeking, then these stories, these characters, there's everything destroyed behind them. Only then that divine merger can happen. So one needs to focus and contemplate on, is this humanly possible? Yeah. Would you be able to give me a Guru Mantra, Mona ji? Yes, you can please send me a message, Mona. While chanting Madhulika, while chanting mantra and Atharva Shirsa, sometimes my ego pushes me hard to finish it quickly, even though I want to do 1 hour. Then how do I stop this feeling? Yes, the restlessness comes and fatafat khatam karo, or sometimes you start yawning, or you sometimes just feel bored. What am I doing? Rattling like nonsense something. You have to discard all of these thoughts that come from inside and say, that is why people tie their practices to their guru or to their Ishta Devta. Because I'm answerable to my Ganesha, so even if I'm feeling sleepy, I'll finish my japa and sleep. You have to be answerable. Your ego needs to be subjugated all the time. This is the problem. So when you get lazy, don't be lazy, just finish it. Finishing is important. That's why I tell all my students who are in mantra japa that, okay, perfection is very nice. It's nice to do it in a perfect way, sitting down and like a yogi. But in the beginning, when you're training yourself to do japa, it's okay if you do it imperfectly. Just finish it. Finishing should become the target first, so that your body, your mind get used to finishing a certain counts. Then you will come into perfecting it a little bit. Get it? when I do meditation, I have many thoughts in my mind. How can I concentrate and how can I overcome the unwanted thoughts? Rashmi, that is a practice. Abhyas entu kaunte vairagyencha guhate. Bhagavad Gita says it's abhyas. Meditation is abhyas, and eventually the abhyas itself will treat your mind, will teach your mind. The mind gets exasperated when you follow the discipline of sitting every day, every day, every day without fail. Then the mind will get a message that now she's not going to get up. So in the beginning practices, even if you're getting disturbed, you should continue to sit in meditation. Eventually, the body will teach the mind will learn that, okay, now she's not going to get up for half an hour, better sleep. The mind will also sleep. All right. I pray Radha Krishna Swarup since childhood and had profound love for them, but these days I read a bit more. I understand that Radha is not mentioned in scriptures and I feel distracted from the prayers. I've been doing it for years. Is it all right? Exploration karo, Anjali. Exploration karo and find out your truth. Then your mind will stabilize. It will stabilize. I get connected to certain saints, their teachings like Guru Nanak and Jnaneshwar. Read their teachings, remember them. Yes, that's very good practice. It's a very good practice. You should always have ideals on your spiritual path. Normally, the ideals that you have, you imbibe, subtly you imbibe their waves and their vibes, and you incorporate in your system, and your mind gets a kind of a program that these are the values that I want to imbibe. And it's like a inner grooming. So that's a nice thing to do. Mayuri, I used to meditate, do Om chanting and mantra japa regularly with discipline, but it's a month I have suddenly stopped. I try to go back, but unable to do. Just don't have the energy. Why is it happening? Is my Devta upset? I don't have energy is a negative statement given to yourself. You're having energy to move around, take a bath, read, eat, go out, sit in this forum. Energy hai. I have energy, I have energy. Reverse that statement first of all. And just tell yourself, don't try to act smart with me. You have to do the japa and get back into the system. Tell that lazy you that don't act very smart. I'm going to teach you how to do things right and just get back. Willpower, Ichha Shakti and Sankalp Shakti should be strengthened. All right, pray to your God that let my will not fall down and let me have a relentless ability to pursue your sadhana. Pray. Will the Brahma Gyan course teach about Brahman as divine love and how we can merge with divine love, become divine love? Yes, Nilima, this is the core of the teaching. This is the core of the teaching. I have been wanting to meditate longer, more than doing the rituals and mantras. Is that also Nirguna Upasana? Yes, Dilipji, that is Nirguna Upasana. And is that okay to do after being initiated to a Devi Devta practice? Yes, it is okay. Don't know my Ishta Devta and don't have a longing for any form as yet. Yes, that is called Nirguna Upasana, and yes, it is okay to do bhakti side by side. All right, so that's brilliant. Oh, I can't imagine there are so many questions. कितना सारा questions डाल दिया है तुम लोगों ने, हाँ? And we have 200 participants. That's lovely. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here. I love you all so much. And I want to see all of you in the Brahma Gyan Sutras. If you don't have the details for the course, please send a message to me. I will send you the details. If there are any questions you have to ask, please send the questions to me as well. There is a Mahaganpati Sadhana group we have. It's a free group for everyone. If anybody wants to join this group, send a message to me. I'll add you to that group. Normally, our notifications are given then, and people keep posting something very sweet and nice in that group. It's a good group to be together. All right. Thank you so much. Love you all so much. I'll see you all next Sunday in the new class.